Let's take a closer look, though, at China's retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. We're talking about a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products and a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large engine cars. These tariffs are set to take effect on Monday. So let's go live now to CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, do all these tariffs spell sticker shock for shoppers? And where might we start to see those prices go up?
So this could potentially mean higher prices. I don't want to say sticker shock because the tariff on China was 10% versus a much larger tariff that President Trump had been threatening earlier in the campaign, as much as 60 to 100%. But 10% isn't nothing. Now, that you're not going to see a full 10% when you go to the store and buy a piece of clothing that was manufactured in China. It would be more along the lines of something less than 10%, because what happens is when an American company imports a Chinese product to the U.S., they do pay a 10% tax, but it's on that wholesale price. And so then they decide how much they're going to pass that on to us, the consumer. Now, in terms of how long it could take to go into effect, it really depends on the industry. So if there's an industry where inventory is low and they're going to be importing products, sending it to you almost immediately, then yes, you're going to see that 10% tariff in the sticker price that you do buy. But then there are other industries where it could take 6 to 9 months. So it really depends. And of course, the hope is some of this is just a negotiation. The retaliatory tariffs that you mentioned that China put in place don't go into effect until February 10th. So it does seem that there may be a window for negotiating there.
Of course, we still got a few more days before February 10th, so we'll see what comes out of that. Now, Kelly, just minutes ago after U.S. Trump's tariffs took effect, China announced it's launching an investigation into Google. What is that about?
So we don't have that many details, but the timing was suspect. It was literally minutes after the 10% tariff went into effect at midnight this morning. So it is an antitrust investigation, and what that really means is that China is investigating Google for anti-competitive practices. Whether this is really going to hurt Google that much, Google doesn't have a very big business in China. In fact, back in 2010, they had to stop operating their primary operation of Google.com. They do have some engineering and advertising businesses, but it is really small. So if there was some kind of penalty in terms of operating or a fee that is a percentage of their business, Google is a very, very small operation in China.
Got it. And Kelly, another move from President Trump we want to ask you about, because he's establishing what's called a sovereign wealth fund, saying it could be used to buy TikTok. But I'm wondering this, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering the same thing. What is a sovereign wealth fund?
Yes. So it's basically an investment fund that's owned by a country. And I'll point to other countries like Saudi Arabia, Norway, China that do operate very large and very successful sovereign wealth funds. And what this allows a country to do is make investments as a venture fund or another investment private fund would. It's kind of like a nest egg, because then you can make those investments and hopefully reap those benefits and reinvest or bring it to other areas of the government. I will note most countries fund this from a budget surplus, like Saudi Arabia. They're very rich in oil. They're able to fund that money towards the sovereign wealth fund. The U.S. is operating at a budget deficit. So I think a big question would be, where would this money even come from to fund that investment fund?
Yeah, that's a big question indeed. Kelly, other news here we're following today, Waffle House tacking on an extra charge for eggs. What's going on there?
It's the bird flu. So they came out with a statement saying that they're going to tack on a 50-cent charge for any egg type of dish that you would order. And I don't know about you, but I went to Costco this weekend. I couldn't find eggs anywhere. Everything was out. That's a very common thing that people are finding across the country. So many birds, thousands and thousands, have been affected by this flu. And so we are seeing that egg shortage that's causing prices to go up. And that is why you're seeing the move from Waffle House today. They did say that when this shortage, rolls back, that surcharge will roll back as well. But for now, it's in place.
Well, you and me both, Kelly, because I went to Costco a week ago and couldn't find any eggs. But Kelly O'Grady, thank you for making it all make sense for us. We appreciate your time today.